Howdy, folks. I'm a very lost Waldo.
I'm Amber.
And here's I don't know.
Where's your striped shirt? I call BS.
Alright, folks, our very first, very creepy Saturday morning special, being recorded at Friday night, mind you, is titled Am I a Jerk for Occasionally Glancing at My Neighbor's Windows When She Didn't Put Up Any Curtains? Really? Really, bub? I'm a 38-year-old male, and I live in a terraced house converted into 4 flats. The bottom flat is mine. It's the largest, and it's the only one that has access to the garden. If you sit at the back of my garden, you can see inside the first floor flat through their windows. Well, my first floor neighbor is Naughty, and she's a 33-year-old female. I'll admit it, she's gorgeous, and on top of that, she's intelligent. She's a translator, and I can hear her speaking on the phone, and I could listen to her switch between 3 languages all day. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't attracted to her. I've never had the courage to ask her out, though. But that's not the reason why I occasionally glance at her windows. When you sit in my garden, you can see directly inside of her flat. She has curtains in her windows on either side of the building, looking out to the street. But I guess that she forgot to put them on the side from the garden. Anyways, I'm a smoker, so whenever I sit down here to have a cigarette, I entertain myself by looking up. I can see whatever she's doing, and I find it fascinating. I can see who she is as a person, and admittedly, it's fascinating, and very different to all the other women that I know. I mean, the fact that she doesn't love to watch Love Island was a great start. And don't get me wrong, I am not a creepy peeping Tom. She's just not changing in front of the windows or anything like that, but I have seen her in PJs, which kind of makes her more human to me. I kind of thought that she was a bit frigid and robotic at first, and getting more courage to ask her out. Honestly, I don't think you can just go up to a beautiful and smart woman like that, and seeing all those little glimpses of her private life just makes it easier. So I want to make a note here, real quick, folks. Guess what word he used just now? Private. Private. He already understands that this is meant to be private. Thank you, OP. My case is shut, closed, rested. I am not a lawyer. Anyways, I digress. I had some mates over the other day, and we were sitting in the garden smoking. It was 3 guys and a female friend of mine. And Natalie comes back home and was doing stuff, and they saw me looking up at her windows. My mates joked around, but we weren't really against it. Just made fun of me. Banter, really. My female friend told me it was creepy that I put those chairs there on purpose, and I could easily move them as not to stare into her windows. I told her that she's just jealous cause no one is looking into her windows, and she told me that I was a creep and went back inside telling all of her female friends it was my birthday party and I had plenty of friends and friends over. When I got back, some of my mates were making fun of me, but some of the females were a bit funny and sided with her. I told her just to leave and not to come back because I'm not a creep and it's bad for her to say that I am. She called me a jerk, took her things and left, but she made a Facebook post about me, calling me all sorts of names and making sure that everyone I know hears about this. Now I'm confused. My mates agree with me, but some people under her post agree with her. Am I the jerk here? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk, and you are also a creep, OP. So I know you think you're not, but you are literally spying on your neighbor to get intelligence about her to try to get a date out of her. Because, you know, people like internet creep on people, and that kind of like crosses a threshold is what I was going for. Internet stalking. You learn everything you can about a person before you go out with them. You're just literally peering into her home so you know what she likes, so you can be like, well, I happen to also not like watching Love Island.
So I think that OP, you've set this up like what your friend said so that you can spy on her, right? You could put your chairs in that garden anywhere you wanted to. It sounds like it's big enough that you could put them where you wanted. Now, at the very beginning, if you had just approached your neighbor and said, hey, look, I'm not trying to spy in on you or anything like that, but I noticed that I can see in through your windows, she would probably have been appreciative and put curtains back up, right? But because this is a private garden area, there's an expectation of privacy. She probably doesn't expect anyone to be craning their neck so hard to be able to see inside of her windows.
And how do you think she would feel if she knew what you were doing? Like, why don't you just come right out and tell her, oh, by the way, I've been looking through your windows if you're that confident you're not a creep?
Like, that's the litmus test, right? If she is fine with this and you go and approach her and like, hey, for the last 6 months, I've been occasionally spying on you, then maybe she'll have something very different to say about it.
Yeah. Well, and if thinking about telling her what you're doing makes you feel uncomfortable, that's your sign. That's called your conscience.
Yeah.
And you should listen to it and not do this anymore.
Yeah, so I think that there are a lot of signs here that kind of show that you know deep down what you're doing is kind of wrong and a little bit creepy. So I think you should listen to those voices, listen to your friends who are telling you that this is not good activities, and definitely stop doing this. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Edgar Allan Poe says, you're the jerk and you're a huge flaming creep. Edit to add the reasons. First, the way you reacted to your friends was rude and hostile. Then they were right, you didn't have to have your chairs with that view. Regularly watching anyone without their knowledge is creepy. But that you are obvious enough about it during a party that it came up, it comes across as super obsessed. Your friends are right in front of you, and you're obvious enough in your looking at the neighbor through her windows that it was noticed. Then your friends call you out, and you threw them out. Yeah, I think there are some pretty good points there.
And I just wanted to comment, great username, person.
All right, folks, our next very bizarre letter from Relationship Advice, originally posted on Am I the Jerk, is titled, My husband is a 35-year-old male, thinks that I'm a 32-year-old female, baby trapped him despite the baby being planned, please help. Originally posted on Am I the Jerk, but it was removed by the mods. My husband is a 35-year-old male, and I'm a 32-year-old female, and I've been married for 7 years. He lived next door, and we just clicked. It was like a fairy tale. One thing that I've always thought that made our marriage so strong was our friendship with each other and our trust in one another. Although now my husband seems to think otherwise. Recently, my husband found out that his friend Jeff, a 34-year-old male, has been baby trapped. Basically, Jeff's wife, 32-year-old female, stopped taking the pill and fell pregnant a few months into the relationship, and only came clean after the wedding. Jeff came from a very conservative family, which his wife knew, and so he felt obligated to marry her after the pregnancy. Unfortunately, he now also feels obligated to stay regardless of the clearly messed up dynamic because he feels that he made a vow and will stick by his wife and child. My husband, for some reason, has been really rattled by this. I'm currently 4 months pregnant with our first, and my husband asked me yesterday if I was trying to baby trap him. I first laughed because honestly I thought it was a joke. He was dead serious and doubled down, so I told him that we have already been married for 7 years and a baby was not going to trap him any more than he already is. My husband did not like that answer and said that there was no time limit on baby trapping, and that my intentions were clearly not pure given how I was acting, as if his concerns were a joke. He said that he had trusted me in the past, but me laughing in his face gave him no reason to trust me now. I did not really know what he wanted or how I was meant to respond, and I said that we should talk about this in the morning. Today I woke up and my husband was gone, but I did have a nasty text from his brother, a 28-year-old male, saying that I had forced my husband into this pregnancy despite it having been a joint decision. My husband is missing in action and not responding to calls or texts, and now I'm wondering how on the earth to go forward. Any advice is appreciated. Wow. Alright folks, since this is of course relationship advice, we should have some advice here.
I mean, I think your husband needs therapy. There is something clearly not right going on here. This has rattled him, or either that or he's using it as an excuse and he's not happy in the marriage for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's kind of two possibilities. So, one, see if you can get through to him, see if you can go into therapy and whatnot. But you're gonna have to talk to other people. Your husband is not responding right now, so rely on your support system. If you have parents or siblings who are in your corner, kind of turn to them right now.
Yeah.
And if his parents you have a good relationship with them, maybe also talk to them before he starts telling everyone you baby trapped him.
Yeah, well, I think that the important thing here is to get your narrative out and to tell people your perspective and make sure that you control the narrative, because if he gets to it first and starts telling everyone that you've baby trapped him, then whatever story that you come up with at that point in time is going to kind of lose some reputability. If you do talk to his parents, are probably going to be like the best place to start, because they're going to be the ones who are going to be the most understanding towards the situation. You can explain that this was very much planned and that he just doesn't know what baby trapping is at a certain point.
Yeah, well, and hopefully you've also, 4 months along, you probably also already told his family about this. So hopefully they have kind of that knowledge that you both like announced the pregnancy to them. But yeah, make sure to get your narrative out there so people know that you didn't baby trap him. It was a planned pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then
it was planned on both of your parts.
Right. And then whatever happens with your husband, you do need to talk to him when he's ready. But this is not good behavior for a future parent and for a partner. He just kind of needs to get his act together.
I'm wondering if there's, again, like what you were kind of alluding to before, if there's some kind of other mental health issue going on here. Like maybe he suddenly realized that he doesn't want to have a child and he feels like maybe he like was forced into this decision. But that again, like if you two made a mutual decision on this, then there was no baby trapping.
Right. And that's the unfortunate thing, is sometimes people do realize once the baby's already there or once the pregnancy's already underway, oh my goodness, this is a lot of responsibility. I'm not ready for this. Was this really my choice? And so he might be feeling some kind of conflicting emotions, and that's getting wrapped up in the baby trapping thing. But that's not something you can fix. That's something he needs to work on.
Yeah. So massive therapy on his part and massive couples counseling as well. Make sure that you present that so that you can have a neutral third party who can sit down and try to see what his side of this is, and that way you two can work out what is really kind of going on here. So that's kind of my advice. Anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've actually got a tea right here, and Amber has got a joke.
What do you call a monster in the classroom?
I call a monster in the classroom my 5th grade English teacher. I'm just kidding.
A creature teacher.
A creature teacher? My 5th grade teacher was very kind. I just didn't know what grade I was trying to say. I was trying to be like, there's got to be a bad teacher in there. And I was panicking. And I was like, there's too much pressure. And so I just had to grab a grade. But Miss Rowe, but that's not her name anymore. She changed her last name. You were a very good teacher. I'm very sorry that I was a hyperactive child. I also am very sorry about dying convulsions on the ground when you played country music. I hope sometime that you can find it in the deepest parts of your heart to forgive a 5th grade little Brian. He was just a psychopath.
I never heard that story before. I love it.
Yeah, I used to pretend to play dead, right? And so I was actually very good at it. And I was just very rambunctious. I was hyperactive. And so she played country music one day. I was such a non-fan of country music that I just pretended to die. I'm sure it was entertaining at the time. I'm sure she didn't actually mind, but I know she didn't probably appreciate how hyperactive I was as a child. And I have Mega Mint tea. But also, folks, earlier today I had Earl Grey, and there's still a little bit left. And so if you guessed both Mega Mint and Earl Grey, you're kind of right. Quick, go get me some licorice spice, Amber. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for the Saturday morning special. I hope you are having a great Saturday, and I hope it's all going very well and splendidly for you. Thanks so much for watching. Amber, what is the moral of our story today?
Well, I'm going to pick the first one to go with, and I'm going to say the moral is don't spy on your neighbors.
I think that's a good one, and I'm going to go with the second one. If you baby trap early and quickly in the relationship.
Don't baby trap people. Do not do that. That is a very bad thing to do.
I'm just kidding. Completely kidding. Do not baby trap people. Absolutely, that's reproductive coercion.
Yeah.
And I know that's actually something that I shouldn't joke about. So yeah, don't baby trap people. That's the real moral.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye. I like how we still have to time travel for our live stream.
Oh yeah, we do have to time travel.